Hey everyone, and welcome. We're jumping right into a topic that is becoming absolutely essential in the tech world, AI security. As artificial intelligence gets woven deeper and deeper into pretty much every business out there, figuring out how to protect these systems isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It's critical. So, let's get into it.
And just a quick heads up before we really dive in, everything we're covering today comes straight from Chapter 1 of the AI Security for IT Departments tutorial, which is provided by Virtualization Options LLC.
This quote from the source material really hits the nail on the head. We're not just talking about a simple software patch or a new kind of firewall here. This is a total fundamental shift. It's a brand new way of thinking about security altogether.
So, let's start by digging into why this is such a new frontier. See, AI systems aren't just faster, shinier versions of the software we're used to. They work on completely different principles, and that simple fact creates a whole new landscape for potential threats.
Okay, so here's the difference in a nutshell. Think about traditional software. It's predictable, right? It follows a set of hard-coded, static rules. But AI systems, they learn. They adapt based on the data they're fed. Their behavior can be autonomous, which is amazing. But that very adaptability, their greatest strength, also opens up a completely new and always changing attack surface. We're basically moving from a world of known vulnerabilities we can patch to a world filled with unique threats that are constantly evolving.
And that, of course, brings us to the specific dangers that are lurking in this new frontier. Understanding this threat landscape is step one, because the old security maps we've been using for years, they just won't work here. We're really facing a challenge on three different fronts. First, our existing security playbooks just weren't built for AI, and that leaves these huge, gaping holes. Second, we're seeing completely new kinds of attacks pop up, things like data poisoning or model inversion that are specifically designed to fool these learning systems from the inside. And third, the regulators are definitely catching on. Frameworks like the EU AI Act are starting to demand a much higher standard of security and governance. It's kind of like a perfect storm of new risks.
All right, so that's the problem. Now, what's the solution? How do we actually navigate this new territory safely? Well, it all comes down to a few core, time-tested security principles, but we have to totally reimagine them for this new AI-driven world. First up is confidentiality, and in the world of AI, this goes way, way beyond just protecting a customer list. We're talking about locking down the literal brain of the operation, the training data, the model's internal wiring, and the answers it gives. If that stuff leaks, it's not just a data breach, it's like a blueprint for your entire business getting stolen. An attacker could literally reverse engineer your secret sauce or figure out the perfect way to trick your model because they know exactly how it thinks.
Next, we have integrity, and this is all about trust. Can you actually trust the decisions your AI is making? An attack like data poisoning can quietly corrupt a model by feeding it bad data over time. And then, all of a sudden, your fraud detection system might start letting a certain kind of crime slide, or a loan model could be tweaked to deny entire groups of people. Integrity is the guardrail that makes sure the AI is behaving the way it's supposed to and hasn't been secretly compromised.
Then there's availability. Now, this might sound like standard IT stuff, but when AI systems are making decisions on their own, the stakes get so much higher. It's not just about a tool being offline. If your automated factory maintenance AI goes down, a critical piece of machinery could fail without anyone knowing. The impact can be immediate and, frankly, pretty severe. This is all about making sure these intelligent systems are tough, resilient, and always on the job.
And finally, we have accountability. When an AI makes a call, especially a bad one, who's responsible? AI can often feel like a black box, right? Information goes in, a decision comes out, but what happens in the middle is a mystery. Well, accountability is the principle that cracks that box open. It means keeping detailed logs and clear audit trails so that when a model does something unexpected, you can actually go back and figure out why. And this isn't just for fixing bugs, it's absolutely essential for regulatory compliance and for building real trust in the system.
So, principles are great theory, but what does all this look like in the real world? Let's make this a bit more concrete and see how security priorities change based on how an AI is actually being used.
It becomes pretty clear that AI security is definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. If you're running a customer-facing chatbot, your main focus is going to be on protecting user privacy and checking every single piece of user input to stop people from manipulating it. But for an internal system that's, say, processing documents, the priorities totally shift. There, it's all about strict access controls and making sure it connects securely with all your other internal tools. The context really does dictate the strategy.
So whose job is all this? The short answer is everyone's.
AI security is a true team sport. You can't just hand it off to one department and call it a day. It needs constant collaboration between IT security, who are putting in the controls, MLOps making sure deployments are secure, data science building security in from the very beginning, and of course compliance setting the rules of the road. If any one of those teams drops the ball, the whole system could be at risk. Which brings us to our last and I think most important question. The world of AI is not slowing down. If anything, it's speeding up. So the question to ask yourself is this: is your organization's security strategy really evolving fast enough to keep up? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.